right, so we have a special guest tonight. Let's give a hand for Kason.
Thank you.
You know, actually, your stool's really high, and that's kind of embarrassing for me. You gotta lower it. You gotta lower that stool. Like I'm already shorter than you. You gotta. Tyson, be quiet. Okay, so what's your official title now?
Marine now. So. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we're glad you're here tonight, and we want to hear your story, how God worked through your life at boot camp. So I guess first question is this: what made you want to become a Marine?
So the biggest thing was I had there's after I graduated, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I worked for the school a little bit, helping with maintenance and stuff like that. And the biggest thing that drove me to do it was there was some stuff going on back at home that I just kind of wanted to get out of. And I saw it seemed like all the other kids I graduated with they already had everything planned out, and I was like, hey, they're doing really well. And I was kind of not happy with myself in a sense. I was just I don't know what I want to do. And I was with my dad one time, and I had a random recruiter message me. He was just like, hey, you want to join the Marine Corps? And I was just at first I was kind of why would I give up my time like that? I don't know why I would do it. But then I started talking with him a little bit more, and yeah, he was he got me all set up. I went to Pittsburgh, I enlisted, and came back, and I left in October. So that's how that ended up.
All right, cool. I'm so happy no one ever asked me to join the Marines, or that would be a death sentence to me at boot camp. All right, question 2. What were your first moments at boot camp when you got off the bus?
So you go down and you fly down. So I flew out of Pittsburgh into South Carolina, and then once you get to the airport, they actually have drill instructors waiting for you inside the airport, and they're screaming at you. And you sit in a long line, and there's buses outside, and you get on the bus, and they make you put your head down the whole time because you have kids that try to run away from base and stuff like that. And we got up on base, and the drill instructor came on the bus, and he started yelling at us. He told us to get off the bus, blah blah blah. And I was just there I didn't know.
Can you do that face again?
Yeah, I was just why are you screaming at me? I've never met you in my life. I just got down here, and yeah, they take you in, and you just get processed. That's whenever you get all your clothes and stuff like that. But it was really wild. I was scared at first. I was shaking. They give us paperwork to fill out, and I was shaking. I couldn't even fill it out because I actually had a female drill instructor start yelling at me, and I don't know about I think personally, in my opinion, females drill instructors are scarier because they're screaming in your face. So I was just I'm ma'am. So I'm just writing stuff down.
Did it remind you of your mom screaming at you at all? Or?
Honestly, I thought my parents were strict at first, and then I went down there and I was yeah, not even close. Yeah. So it was just I got down there. They have you do that stuff, and yeah, it was just 2 days of straight confusion. That's what the first moments were like. So.
Okay, so I think everyone's going to want to hear this question. First let's take audience participation. Does anyone want to hear any funny drill instructor stories? I can't hear anyone, noise. Okay, you've heard the people, so what are some funny drill instructor stories you have?
So the first night I went down, I was used to, before I went down, I was I would go to bed watching The Office real late, 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'd wake up at 12 or 11 the next day. But down there, you go to bed at 8 o'clock and you wake up at 4 in the morning every day. So it was just they scream, they come in, they scream lights, and all the guys are getting out of bed. And I remember laying there, and a drill instructor walked over, and I looked at him and said, I'm not getting out of bed, you're gonna have to drag me out. And he's oh, okay, Detterline, you wanna get smart? So 3 other drill instructors had come over, ripped off the blankets, and then they picked up my mattress and threw it in the middle of the highway. and I hit my head off the ground, and I was super irritated, and so I just got up and I was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna get hard-headed with these guys, like, you know, I'm just gonna do what I'm told to do, and just like, you know, go about my day, like not even like mess with any of them. So yeah, and another thing was too, so you have like certain amount, like they have give you counts to eat, and so there was another kid that he didn't get to finish all of his food, and he told a drill instructor that he wasn't going to give him his food. So what the drill instructor did was grab the sandwich out of his hand, he threw it out the wall, and he was like, yeah, go pick it up. And he picked it up and threw it out. So this kid was just like irritated. And so like we had kids like they'd go to the chow hall, and like we had one kid like steal peanut butter and stuff like that. And so like our platoon got made fun of because we had thieves in our platoon. So like that's like, you know, everybody gets super hungry. So like you're gonna have kids that are gonna like try to hide stuff. So yeah, that's how that ended up.
Okay, so do you have a story about a sandwich?
So yeah, I do. So I was really, really hungry, and like I didn't get like any food the day before, and I was just like really tired, and I went to eat my sandwich, and the drill instructor came up to me and the count was up, and he was like dead or line, put the sandwich on and throw it out. And I looked at him, and he realized I still had like food in my mouth. So what they make you do is they make you take the food out and spit it in your hand and then put it back in the box. And he just looked at me, he's like, yep, spit it up right now. And I spit it up and put it back in the box. And I was just like, dang, this is gonna be a rough like 3 months. Like, it's just it wasn't.
Okay. Speaking of rough 3 months, what holiday did you celebrate at boot camp?
I celebrated my birthday, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So yeah, it was pretty rough. It just like, especially I know during like my birthday, I know my parents sent me like cards and stuff like that, and then my mom was like, oh yeah, we're having on Thanksgiving, she was like, we're having dinner at your grandparents' place and everything like that. And I'm just thinking like, wow, I'm out in a sandpit getting destroyed while you're having fun, Mom. I'm like, thanks. Like, yeah.
Did you get birthday cards from anyone in this room?
Yeah. So I thank you guys for the birthday cards. Honestly, that was awesome. Like, I saw all 3 of them, and then Ryan, I saw what Ryan put. He's like, your secret admirer. So I was like, oh. But yeah, that getting mail a lot is what another thing that gets kids through boot camp, because like, you know, you have some of them that like they don't really like have like parents and stuff like that, so some of them didn't get mail at all, so it was a little bit rough for them. So yeah.
And what about Thanksgiving?
Okay, so Thanksgiving was rough too, because we didn't eat that day, and it was a nice meal. So like, I'm used to like my gram, she'll make turkey and stuff like that, and like it's wet, it's wet, it's nice, and like there in the chow hall, it was like brick turkey. So I was like, I picked it up and looked at it, and I was like, you know, I'll just eat it because I'm hungry and I haven't eaten anything for like a day. So I was like, I went to eat it. And so we had a couple idiots that decide, hey, we're going to talk in the chow hall whenever we know we're not supposed to. And the drill instructors caught him talking, and he was like, oh, you guys want to talk? Everybody pick your food up and throw it out. And like, I had a heaping plate of like, you know, I had like apples and stuff, and I had like, you know, stuffing and like, and I was super depressed. I was like, wow, you idiots made me had to like throw out my food. Like, I was upset. So yeah, let's just say like later that night, a lot of fights broke out in the squad bay after drill instructors left. So yeah.
All right. So what was your relationship with God like before you went to boot camp?
So it was almost like non-existent. Like, you know, I was frustrated before I had went down. Like, as I said earlier, like, you know, I had some like stuff going on back at home, and like, you know, I was just like seeing how well people were doing around me, and like, you know, I had like previously at Momentum, like I talked to like Tim Campbell and like a couple other guys, like just like another, like that was just a thing I struggled with, is like comparing myself to other people. And so like it was almost non-existent. Like I didn't really want anything to do with God. Like I was kind of frustrated. Like Mom and Dad would like, hey, you want to do this and do that? And I was like, yeah, sure, like whatever, like I'll go and do it. And yeah, that's how my relationship was before boot camp. So
all right, but at boot camp you got really close to God, right?
So it was pretty cool. So before I left, you know, I went to get on the plane, my dad looked at me, he said, he was just like, yeah, you're gonna need a lot of prayer. And like I'm thinking like coming straight from home, I'm like, yeah, right. Like, I'm just gonna go down 3 months, do my thing, and get out of there. Like, I didn't take him serious at all. Like, I just kind of like laughed at him a little bit. I was like, yeah, right, okay. So, but yeah, you really do, because I just remember there was one time, like, the thing that really woke me up, like, there was one time I had messed up really bad. And I had 5 just drill instructors screaming at my face, like all of them. Like I had one like rip off my glasses, and he threw them. And like I just remember like just standing there, like getting yelled at, and I just cried. I just broke down, and I just like was like, yeah. I just cried out to God. I was like, just get me through this. I don't know how I'm gonna get through these 3 months. Like I'm not used to this. Like everything like isn't going my way, because like at first I went in cocky because I was like, yeah, I had a brother that was in the Marine Corps, and like yeah, I had an idea what I was doing. Like I walked into it almost like yeah, I don't need help. Like I got this on my own. Yeah, I found out real quickly I didn't, and so. I got to pray with a lot of other guys too, because a lot of kids in my platoon, they were from the Bronx, so like, you know, they were coming out of like situations with like drug dealing and stuff like that, and that's why they had joined. So I remember just praying with one kid that he was just like every time you guys seem to pray, like it works out for you guys. And I was like, yeah, bro, like you want to come over and join me? Like, you know, I'll talk to you. And like he told me his story and stuff like that, and I just got to pray for him. And like over like the course of 3 months, more and more guys started praying, like in patches. And I thought that was so cool, because like you go from like you start out with like 90 guys, and like throughout boot camp, like kids drop, like they go home and stuff like that. And like it's just awesome, because like you don't know anybody at first. Like you're all thrown into a squad bay, and like with guys you've never met, guys from all over the country. And then at the end of the day, we all became really close, not only together, but like close to God. So I thought that was pretty dope. So
All right, so you reached a point of like brokenness
Yes.
in your life, and you called out to God to help you, and you told us, you know, a little bit of those stories. What other stories did God specifically help you get through boot camp?
okay, so the biggest thing that God got me through boot camp was rifle week, because like I had never messed with a gun before. So they teach you, like, you shoot an M16A4. So it was like, I just looked at it. They gave me a rifle, and I just looked at it, because I've never messed with guns before. I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I have no idea what to do with this thing. Like, what do you want me to do with it? And the drill instructors are talking and like explaining to you how to use a gun, and I'm just thinking about Charlie Brown, like wah 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 wah, like just like they're like, oh yeah.
Do that again. That was funny.
Wah 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 wah.
Wah 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 wah.
But like they're just like explaining like the bolt carrier group, and like the charging handle, and like the magazines and stuff like that. And I know my first day, whenever we went out to the range, like I had freaked out, because like there's a certain amount of time you had to like reload with the magazine and stuff like that, and you had to insert rounds, and I was just like shaking. Like, you know, you had other kids in my, like I had other kids that in my platoon that hunted, and they just looked at me and they're like, Detterline, you've never messed with the gun before, have you? And I was like, nope, not at all. And they're like, yeah, we can tell. Like I'm just like sitting there the whole time, like looking like an idiot. And like another thing they're big down there with too is like muzzle awareness, because like you could get dropped back in training if like you flag a drill instructor, or if like you flag a coach or a PMI. So like, yeah, I just prayed real hard, and like at the end of the day, I ended up getting like rifle expert. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they tell you too, like whenever you're down there, like kids that like have shot before, like they have bad habits to break, so that they don't like do as well than the kids that have like never really, you know, messed with the gun before. Like, so they're like totally teachable. So yeah, I thank God for getting me through that, because I thought that was one of the points in training where I was gonna get dropped back. So.
And God also helped you get through something called the Crucible.
Yeah,
right?
so
what is the Crucible for those who don't know?
So I'll explain the Crucible. So the Crucible is 2 days where you only get 3 hours of sleep, and you only get 2 MREs, which, if you guys don't know what MREs are, they're like meals ready to eat. So they're like in these like little brown packages. And so, yeah, it's more of a team thing. So a lot of times during the Crucible, you go through obstacles and stuff like that, and if you mess up on an obstacle, you die. So I remember the one obstacle, so it's supposed to simulate an actual combat situation where like.
But you don't actually die, though.
No, you don't actually die. No. If that was the case, I'd be like, yo, I'm out. But no. So I know there's one obstacle where I had actually, like, I dropped my rifle, and, you know, we had to low crawl. And I went like I completely forgot about it. I was low crawling, like I didn't pay attention, and I put my head up, and like like in the background, they're like drill instructors are throwing like smoke grenades at you, and they're like they have like loudspeakers up, and they have like gunfire in the background and stuff like that. And I'd put my head up to like see where I was going, because whenever you low crawl, they make you put your head in the sand, and you have to feel out in front of you, so you really can't see what you're doing. So I'd put my head up, and my drill instructor walked over to me. He's like, "Well, dead or line, you got shot in the head. You're dead." And so I froze and I couldn't move, and my fire team had to come back and get me. And so they got me, and I got back up, and at the end of the obstacle I realized, I was like, crap, I don't have my rifle, and it was like 100 yards back. And they all like the drill instructor looked at me. He's like, "Hey, Darren, I think you forgot something." And I looked over my shoulder, and my rifle wasn't over my shoulder. I was like, "Sorry guys, I left my rifle back." And they just all started screaming like, "Are you serious? Like, you're retarded. Like, how did you leave it back there? Like, it's like the rifle's like this. Like, how do you miss that? Like, how do you not see that?" And like actually on the previous obstacle, like one of the drill instructors had like kicked me in the face, and my glasses flew off, and he broke my glasses. And so like I couldn't really see well, and I was like, "Guys, I can't see well." He's like, "Who cares? Like, you should be able to see a rifle. It's not that hard to miss." And so then the drill instructor looked at me. He was like, "Well, you're dead, and you have to go back, and your whole fire team has to go back and get it." And so we low crawled, and like I was on one kid's back low crawling, and he had got my rifle, and like, yeah, it was rough. I died. If I could tell you the amount of times I died, I'd probably say I died like in the past 2 days. I died about 20 times. Like it wasn't very good for me at all. Like I remember one obstacle like we were on. We had to go over a wall, and we had to jump over it. And they teach you the proper technique. Like you put your muzzle over first. Like first you feel under the wall, see if anybody's there, and like then you put your muzzle over. But me being stupid, I looked over the wall. I peeked over the wall like that, and like I had an instructor looked at me. He's like, "Yup, you got shot in the head. You're dead." And yeah, I died so many times. It was rough for me. But at the end of the day, like there was a point where I just broke, and I just cried out to God for help. I just was like, this is not going like at all the way I expected to. Like I'm dying so much. My teammates are getting so mad at me. Like the drill instructors are making fun of me. Like I didn't know what to do, and just like at the end of the day, like I made it. Like surprisingly, I don't know how, but I did. By the grace of God. So
you went through this tough situation, and God helped you out. You cried out to God, and God was there for you. So how many of you were at Perspectives on Monday? I know some of you were at show of hands, Perspectives on Monday. So that very first session, it was really cool. And the whole idea was this, that God blesses you so that you can be a blessing to others. That God just doesn't do good things just for you, but he gives you good things so that you can do good for others. So let's talk about this. God helped you at boot camp. How did God use you to help others?
So God used me a lot just throughout the platoon. Like you have 79 other guys, and so like at first I wasn't sure like how people would feel about me praying. Like every Sunday you have about like 2,000 kids like crammed in like one huge space, and like a lot of them would use that time to like write letters, or like a lot of them would fall asleep in church because everybody's like tired. But I used church like well, but like more of my God time was more at night, because at the end of each day you get an hour square away time. So that's like to pretty much like do whatever you want, like lift weights or like do whatever you want. So I'd get a couple letters out, and then I would just start praying real hard. And like it was so cool because like each time like different kids would come over to me and ask me what I was doing, and I was like, yeah, I'm praying, and I'd get to pray with one of them. And so actually we had two kids. We had one kid that was Muslim, and the kid that was beside me, that slept beside me, he was actually Hindu. And the day before the crucible, our platoon got in a giant circle, and we prayed for like 10 minutes straight. And you have the drill instructors being goofy, like they're watching out the window, like looking at us funny and stuff like that. And this kid comes over, and he's like, "You guys mind if I like join you guys?" And I looked at him, I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't want to force you to do anything like that," because like I knew that I knew he was like Hindu and stuff like that, so I didn't want to like force anything on him. He's like, "No, you're good, dude. Like I just wanted to like." He's like, "It's crazy because like every time you guys do stuff like this, like it works out for you." So I got to explain to him like stuff a little bit. And another thing time I got to reach out to another kid too was in the chow hall. Like, he was like talking about like how like most of the kids and like most of the screw ups in the platoon would like pray and stuff like that. He's like, I noticed it though, like somehow you guys are like still here. Like some of the kids that like, you know, like don't deserve to be here, they're still here. The ones that like, you know, pray and stuff, like explain that to me. And so me and another kid got to talk to him, and he's like, yeah, definitely, like I'll pray more. So I thought it was really cool. Like overall, like it was just like so like awesome to see, like, you know, you have kids from like New York, we had a couple kids from like Ohio and stuff like that all over, and like you don't know them at all, and just like we got so close, like by the grace of God we got so close. So I thought that was awesome. Like I was so glad like God was able to use me to just like reach out to other kids from like, you know, different areas and stuff like that, because again, like, you know, you have kids that come from like really really rough situations. Like I know one kid, like his only means of like making money was like literally the deal with drugs on the streets, and he was like, yeah, I just wanted to come down here to get out of that. So I thought it was really cool just to be able to, you know, reach out to different guys.
So I think that's really cool. There's some people, you know, that might not have experienced Jesus without you being there, and then you were just praying, right?
Absolutely.
And by praying, people wanting to know more about God and what you were doing. They saw God working in your life. So, you know, people are always like, they're always watching your lives, and God could be using you in ways that you don't even know. So we met on what, Tuesday?
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
And you said that there's something we do here that you thought was really beneficial that helped you at boot camp. What was that?
What did I say? Dang, I have a bad brain.
It starts with an F.
Oh yes, fish. I don't know how I forgot about that. Yeah, definitely while you're here, take advantage of that, because like I never like would have thought like, oh, like I was thinking like fish, like okay, like I know at Momentum, like the first time like they introduced it, like I was super uncomfortable with it. Like I was like I don't know how to talk to people. Like I got nervous. Like I get real nervous whenever I'm talking to people. But yeah, if it wasn't for that, really, like that's another thing that got me out too. But if it wasn't for that, like I probably wouldn't have been able to reach out for other kids. So like, yeah, definitely utilize that. Like, you know, just like it isn't like another thing too. Like I found myself doing while I was here too was like I'd purposely like talk to kids that I already knew. I told him this, like I'd be like, oh hey Garrett, like how's your day? Like I see you every day at work. I mean, so how are you doing? Like I mean, I know everything that you do. So like I just wanted to check up on you. And like Garrett would be like, go find someone else. And I was like, I was like, oh, all right. So I did. So yeah, that fish definitely helped me out a lot. Just like, you know, ask people. Just like the biggest thing too is just like you never know what people are going through, and just like simply just like talking to them or even like acknowledging them, it can make their day, because you know you don't know what people are going through. So yeah.
All right. So this is last question. When people like leave here tonight, what's the last piece of advice you want to give them? Like, what do you want someone to walk away with tonight?
So the biggest thing like I want you guys to like go away with tonight is something I wish I would have done, is not keep Jesus in the box and then bring him out whenever you're going through rough times, because like it shouldn't have had to take me going through something extremely like difficult to like get close to God. It should be like an everyday thing, whether you're at school, whether you're at work, church, like it doesn't matter where you're at. God should be your number one. Like it shouldn't have to take like something really strenuous to, you know, get close to God. Just do it every day. Keep him number one. That's what I learned. And yeah, just, you know, don't keep God in the box. That's like one of the worst things you can do. So.
All right, so let's not keep Jesus in a box, and let's make God number one. Let's give Kason a hand. Keep on going. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to ask the band to come back up, and we're going to ask Brian Burkheimer to come up and pray for Kason. Brian he's a former Marine, and we're going to ask Brian to pray for Kason as he serves our country in Jesus.
Dear God, we just thank you for Kason. We thank you for his testimony. We thank you for what he was able to do in boot camp thus far. God, we just know that in the next 4 years, he's going to see some awesome sights, some awesome things that you've created in this world, God, but he's also going to be attacked from the world and also from the spiritual side of things, Lord. So we just ask for protection from both of those, we just pray that you use him to reach out to other people, other Marines, and also the people that he encounters in the world, and just use him. But Lord, just keep him safe, allow him to stay strong with you, and just allow him to be a light in this dark world. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.